So yeah, you should be live now. Yeah, I'm gonna have that there. So this is going to be a shorter live stream, hopefully, where I just go, talk about what I think Nintendo and Game Freak's 2021 is going to look like. I'm not going to go super in depth here, but I'll just be like talking about what I am mostly sure of. Like, there are going to be some things that are a little bit weaker, but for the most part, I'm pretty sure these are probably going to happen. So let's start with Nintendo. So, Nintendo Switch 2021, I think it's going to look very Zelda, because it is Zelda's 35th anniversary this year, I think. Is it Zelda, or is it... I know it's Zelda, but is it 35th or is it something else? I'm like pretty sure it's 35th. Anyway, it's Zelda's anniversary this year. And I do believe, Breath of the Wild 2 will be part of the anniversary, and they will obviously be having like lots of like merchandise stuff like they do with Mario. So probably like Zelda Lego, Zelda clothes, Zelda themed notebooks and pads and stuff like that, and books. All of that general Zelda merch stuff. But I think this year either a sort of mid-gen refresh, sort of like Xbox One to Xbox One X kind of style, just like not bigly, but like kind of just like another version of the Nintendo Switch that is a bit more powerful. Maybe I don't really think so, but maybe like up 4K upscaling, but I doubt. I think they're going to save that for the next big Switch revision. But I think this year we'll probably see a beefier Switch, but not quite Switch 2.0. So like just a little stop off between Switch 1.0 and Switch 2.0. It's just like going to have a little midpoint here with another iteration of the Switch. And I think Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 will run better on the Switch 2. 1.5. I'm going to call it 1.5. Actually, no. I'll give it a nickname. I'm going to call it Nintendo Switch Deluxe. Yes, Nintendo Switch Deluxe. Because that's not Nintendo Switch 2, that's just a deluxe version of the Switch, basically. Nintendo Switch Deluxe. It'll be a bit more powerful. Don't know about battery, but it'll be a bit more powerful, docked and handheld, just to keep the Switch able to go toe-to-toe with the Series X, Series S, and PlayStation 5, and make sure third parties keep coming in to Nintendo's ecosystem among these next-gen consoles until the Switch 2.0 releases. So Hyrule, and obviously like Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity will probably run better. It'll be like all these games that you already have for your Nintendo Switch will run better on Switch Deluxe, and it'll just be like that kind of thing. New 3DS kind of style, not a full. You get the idea. So I think The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 will be pushing heavily the comparisons between the regular Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch Deluxe. And they'll be just like, and it has all these like bells and whistles and everything. So it'll probably have like a few extra features, but by and large, it's just gonna be the Nintendo Switch, just a bit more powerful, essentially. I do believe that we'll at least see Metroid Prime 4 and Bayo 3 this year. I don't think they'll release this year, because I think we are getting close to Metroid Prime 4's release, maybe. I think maybe next year. I don't know. I've lost track of since how long it was delayed, so maybe next year, but I don't think we'll get it this year. I don't know, but so I want to make a quick prediction here for when they do eventually release Metroid Prime 4. Like maybe a month or two before, just around the release of Metroid Prime 4, they will possibly release Metroid Prime trilogy for the Nintendo Switch. They'll just like, Metroid Prime 4 comes early 2022 or something like that, and they're like, but if you want to get caught up with the series, here's Metroid Prime trilogy to hold you over until then. I think that's what's going to happen. As for Directs, I don't really see the traditional big Nintendo Directs being much of a thing, really. Because I think it's just going to be like Park and Showcases and Indie Directs. I don't think we're going to see many, if any, regular Nintendo Directs and also Pokemon Directs. So it's just like, maybe, but doubt it. And like maybe we could get a direct if they just want to tease something of their own, and it's like, hey, maybe if they want something they want to show off, but it's too small to really necessitate a standalone trailer, so it's like a mini trailer kind of thing, just giving a little bit more information or teasing something, then maybe. But maybe they're just like, hey, we're planning a direct. Do you want to, they'll like go to other companies and say, hey, we're planning a direct. Do you want to give us something to show in a direct or something? Anyway, but I don't really see regular Nintendo Directs being nearly as prominent as they used to be. That's it. Again, that's if they're around at all. Yeah, and I think that's mostly what Nintendo's probably going to be up to this year. Like, again, I think their main focus is going to be The Legend of Zelda with its anniversary and something. And they'll probably be like releasing like maybe The Legend of Zelda Maker, like make your own dungeons and kind of thing, and like maybe some HD remasters or ports of older Zelda games, maybe. But I don't know. Like, I'm not the biggest Zelda fan. Like, to be honest, the only Zelda game I've beaten is Breath of the Wild, and I played a little bit of Oot on 3DS and got bored. Same for Majora's Mask. So yeah, I'm not too familiar with the series and what games may or may not get remastered or ported or whatever. Might get some NES in the like Nintendo Online or whatever. So let's talk about Game Freak. Now Game Freak's going to be a bit more interesting when we get this year because it is going to be a bit more interesting because it is also Pokemon's anniversary this year as well, and there's a lot of rumours and speculation about Gen 4 remakes, and at this point I think it's pretty much inevitable at this point that we get Gen 4 remakes of some sort. Like, we're not going to get a fair DLC, like, that is for sure. Sword and Shield, their time is done and over. Sword and Shield's in the past. So, in the future, right now we're looking forward to the future. The only two possibilities I see for the future, and they are Let's Go Johto and Gen 4, or Gen 4 remakes, not and Gen 4 remakes, or Gen 4 remakes. Maybe and, but I doubt and. It's going to be one or the other, probably. Now, why do I think Let's Go Johto is a possibility? Well, there was an interview around Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee's release, I believe, that one of the game developers, I can't remember his name because I'm really bad at remembering names, period, and this was a while back now, but they basically said if Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee do well, they'll probably do Let's Go Johto. Yeah, so Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee did sell well, so Let's Go Johto is a very good possibility at this point in time. And that's literally the only reason I think Let's Go Johto, but yeah, I don't really see anything else. Like maybe a Masters collection like that fake leak, but I don't know. I would love to be able to play every Pokemon game on my Nintendo Switch, because like even if we get Gen 4 remakes as well as like the original Gen 4, oh my god, I would be so happy, because I love Gen 4, like especially if they just like, if the Master Collection wasn't just like Diamond and Pearl, it was like, or whatever, it was all the third divisions, but like Blue, Crystal, Emerald, Platinum, Black and White 2, Oras, I guess that would be Gen 6's. That was technically Gen 6's third version, but could just put X and Y on there as well. And I wouldn't really care for Sun and Ultra Moon, or Sun and Moon. I don't want to play through those games ever again, to be honest. Like, the plot. Anyway, I'm not going to rant about the plot of Sun and Moon and Sun and Ultra Moon right now. Right, so I doubt a Master Collection will happen, but I would like it. And it's not impossible, but I doubt. I'm pressing X real hard here. Right, where's the controller? Here's the controller. X. I'm pressing it. Pressing X. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that so Let's Go Johto. Not a lot of events, but it's a possibility. That's all I'm saying, basically. Next, and so why do I think Gen 4 remakes will happen? Well, the Gen 4 remakes, Generation 4 is the generation that we had not revisited in the longest period of time. Gen 1, got re-released on the 3DS, and we got Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. Gen 2 got re-released on the 3DS again on the Virtual Console, just like Gen 1, but we also got remakes of it in Gen 4. Gen 3 got remakes in Gen 6. This is Gen 4, so Gen 4 is when you got High Gold, Soul Silver, Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum. Gen 5 came after Gen 4. Gen 6 came after Gen 4. Gen 7 came after Gen 4. Gen 8 came after Gen 4. So Gen 4 is the generation we have not revisited in the longest period of time, which is why I think we are due to at least revisit Generation 4, Diamond and Pearl, or Platinum. I hope Platinum, because Platinum was the best of the three. So that is a possible. That's one reason why. Also, if you go to, I believe it was like Pokemon, .com, like /25 or something like that. Anyway, if you go to the 25th anniversary site for Pokemon, you can actually find the link at the end of the latest video on the official Pokemon YouTube website, YouTube channel. If you go on there, they announced that starting in March, I believe, they're going to be counting down. Well, they didn't say counting down, but they'll be like revisiting the generation starting off with Generation 8. And I believe they will be counting down, because if they were counting upwards, they would start at Gen 1. And if they were just going at random, it seems a bit odd to start with Gen 8, even if it is at random. So, let's assume they are counting down. Starting from March, that's Gen 8. April would be Gen 7. May would be Gen 6. June would be Gen 5. July would be Gen 4. Now, I'm guessing, like, if they are counting down like this, which will be confirmed or debunked, in a couple months, but, so come back to this video when that's happening, but if it's counting down, if it does end up counting down down the generations, this is when I believe we will get like announcements of the Gen 4 remakes, because Pokemon games typically release in October. Now, July would be Gen 4, August would be Gen 3, September would be Gen 2, October would be Gen 1. So we're definitely not going to get like more Gen 1 games, because they're not going to announce it and release it in the same month. September would be Gen 2. That's too close to October, which, again, we're assuming it's going to release in October for them to build up for it. They'd be like literally announcing it, then doing all the build up for it within a matter of weeks. So that's too compressed. But then you have August and July to build up, as well as September to build up for the release in October. So that's why I think we will probably be getting the reveals then for it. And again, I could be wrong. This is just me, just like, they could be doing that. I mean, you want to come up, Bobs? Like, that does work out if they do decide to do that. So, excuse me. So, maybe not. Again, this all be confirmed in like or debunked in like a couple of months, when there's like start of Gen 8 and then the next generation, if it goes to Gen 7, then it's like, oh, this gets real juicy then, won't it, Luna? I don't know what you're talking about, you madman. There's nobody else here but you. Oh. Anyway, but yeah, that's the reasons why I think Gen 4 is due to be revisited in some shape, form, or fashion. Now the question is, how are we revisiting Gen 4? Like, I think most likely remakes. I don't think they'll just straight up port the original games to the Nintendo Switch. But now the question is, what games are they remaking? Like, a lot of the speculation is like Diamond and Pearl remakes. But Platinum was the best of the three games. Well, all the third versions are the best, obviously. Emerald is the best out of Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, and so on and so forth. So I think it would be like really clever if they remade the Gen 4 games the same way they remade the Gen 2 games in Generation 4. So if you didn't know, one of the reasons why a lot of people say to this day Heart Gold and Soul Silver are still the best remakes is because they didn't just take the game and then update the graphics like they pretty much just did with Auras and the Fire Red and Leaf Green. They took the game, they updated the graphics, they updated the gameplay, just like those two, but then they also like took the best bits from like Crystal and put them into it, and they also like added Pokemon and they also added on top of that, so there's like added Pokemon walking behind you, and they also gave the Team Rocket admins personalities and actual names that they did not have in the original Gen 2 games. And we actually get to see one of those Team Rocket admins in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, in Giovanni's office. So they obviously haven't forgotten about Heart Gold and Soul Silver, because that character was introduced in Heart Gold and Soul Silver and not Generation 2. I think that's how they are going to remake Diamond and Pearl. They're going to take the base games of Diamond and Pearl. They're going to take the best bits from Platinum and hopefully like the Distortion World, and the whole subplot with Giratina, and the stuff like that. Like maybe Cyrus gets a hold of the what are the Dialga's and Palkia's items called? Like something like Adamant Pearl, I think, or something like that. I honestly can't remember because they're not really items you talk about often because they're exclusive to Dialga and Palkia. So Dialga, Adamant Orb for Dialga, and Lustrous Orb for Palkia. Let's say in these remakes of Diamond and Pearl, depending on the version, Cyrus gets a hold of the Lustrous Orb or the Adamant Diamond. And then he infuses it with some power that he got from the power plant or something like that. Like let's say because this is now in the Mega timeline, the power plant also like harnessed not only harvested wind energy, but also harvested like infinity energy. So it's like even more to create even more power. And they take some of that infinite energy and they pour it into the adamant the orb and the diamond, and then when he gives that to Dialga and Palkia, it reverses them into like their primal forms or something. It basically powers them up, and I would love it if they made it so that powered up Dialga looks like primal Dialga from Pokemon Mystery Dungeons Explorers of Time, Darkness and Sky. That would be super cool. So yeah. And then the Lake Trio would not be able to stop Dialga or Palkia because then they became too powerful for those three to handle. But and so Giratina just steps in and is like, all right, what's going on here then? Ooh, just secure, I have to kick. But this time instead of running away, Dialga or Palkia sticks with Cyrus. And Giratina ends up dragging Dialga or Palkia, depending on the version, and Cyrus into the Distortion World. Then Cynthia and you follow behind, along with the Lake Trio. The usual, puzzles. Maybe upgrade them a bit. Because the old ones are old. Make them look a bit better and actually real puzzles. I would love to see an upgraded Distortion World. Giratina, and then you catch up to Cyrus and you beat Cyrus, but Cyrus has again Dialga or Palkia depending on your version fighting Giratina, at some point maybe from Cynthia's grandmother, because that would actually make sense if you go from Cynthia's grandmother. You obtained before going there. You obtained the Grisius Orb, and then that because I got exposed to primal Dialga or Palkia's energy, it absorbed some of that energy, and then that powers up Giratina. Then you help Giratina, is just vastly more powerful now, and it just owns Dialga or Palkia depending on the version. And then Cyrus is forced to retreat, and he gives you the orb or diamond depending on the version, and then you battle Giratina just like usual, but again it's powered up Giratina. So yeah, you catch Giratina. It would be super cool if in this battle Master Balls weren't a guaranteed capture. There was only an 80% chance, 80% base chance or something like that. It's so powerful even a Master Ball can't contain it 100% of the time. That would be super cool. I doubt they'll do that, but that would be super cool. So you have Giratina, so you catch or defeat Giratina depending on what you decide to do. And then obviously if you catch him, you get the Grisius Orb, and then you can attach that. You can give that to Giratina to hold, and then Giratina becomes powered up Giratina. You know, after then you reappear at that. Oh, I can't remember what it's called, but at that grotto place I was in, that from Platinum, and it was in Diamond and Pearl. But you went there to catch Giratina, and then you could go catch Dialga Palkia depending on your version, give it the orb to power it up as well, or you could go to the Elite Four as usual. So yeah, that's how I would like the Gen 4 games to be remade, and I would like Megas to return. Will Megas return? I honestly don't know. Like, they could, it would make sense again, and you could tie the whole infinity energy into the story with the power plant, and then, you know, Team Galactic stealing the infinity energy from the power plant and then putting it into the orb and Diamond. But I am not 100% sure either way if infinity energy and Mega Evolution will return. And same for Dynamaxing and Gigantamaxing. They could return, but I don't know. Yeah, what's up? I love your first was, don't you? Yeah. So yeah, again, I would if Megas and or Gigantamaxing and Dynamaxing does return, I would obviously assume there'd be new Megas and new Gigantamax Pokemon and Dynamax Pokemon. I believe there is a theory right now, I think it was by Birdkeeper Toby, I could be wrong on that. Could be from like Noggin or someone else, but I've heard this a while back, and I'm like 90% sure it's Birdkeeper Toby who made this theory, but that Eternatus is basically one of the arms of Arceus, therefore linked to Arceus, so you could argue that they could confirm that theory and then make it so like Arceus can call, you know, they like add an event for Arceus like it was originally planned to, and Arceus like Dynamaxes or Gigantamaxes, and then that releases energy all over Sinnoh, and then you can now encounter Gigantamax and Dynamax Pokemon. I would like wild areas to return. Like Game Freak really obviously has a soft spot for the Dynamax areas, seeing as how the DLC for Pokemon Sword and Shield was almost nothing but Dynamax, not wild Dynamax, wild areas. So wouldn't surprise me if they did like, oh, you want to go outside? You damn it. Yeah. Right. So it would not surprise me if either of them returned. I would be excited for Mega Evolution to return because it is honestly a cool mechanic. I do not want Z moves to return. They just right. So in the main story, most of the trainers only had one Pokemon, so you could just slap a Z crystal onto your Pokemon, and then just like nuke every fucking Pokemon they sent out first, and they just win. They sent out and just win straight off because a lot of the trainers only had one Pokemon. So I don't want Z crystals to return, and there's no reason for them to return. So they can just they can just stay in Gen 7. Oh, I need to drink. Well, seeing as how Rowan, who was actually Sycamore's teacher, researches evolution, it would not be a stretch for him to learn about Mega Evolution, either from Sycamore or being the person who originally started studying Mega Evolution or something like that. It basically wouldn't be hard to tie Rowan to Sycamore and Mega Evolution and Kalos and X and Y and so on. So yeah, I could see Megas returning, but again, they could just not do that. I mean, they probably piss a lot of people off, but they could just be like, no, Megas aren't return. Like, they definitely started going off the idea of Megas in Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon when they added Pokédex entries for them, basically going on about how bad Mega Evolution was for the Pokemon. So you can tell that at that point they were starting to go off Megas. Excuse me, a bit. So when Megas didn't return in Sword and Shield, it didn't surprise me that much because like they were like hinting. They were just like trying, just like you could just basically tell they started going off the ideas of Megas and Sun and Moon and Sun and Moon, especially because there was no new Megas. Now, regional forms. Now, it would not make any sense whatsoever for there to be a regional form of any Gen 1, 2, or 3 Pokemon, because a lot of them were found in Sinnoh in Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum. So, if they would get a regional form, why would they not have a regional form in the original games in Universe? Obviously, outside of Universe is because they didn't think of regional forms at that point in time. But what could be interesting is like regional forms and new evolutions to Gen 5, 6, 7, and 8 Pokemon. Like, really think about this. Maybe we get a split evolution for Bisharp, like maybe like King Sharp and Queen Sharp or something like that, and like King Sharp is more bulky and defensively orientated, so he's like fighting steel. He's more bulky and slower. More defensively orientated, just like King is in chess, where the Queen is fast and has a lot of attack. Just like base 115 speed, base 110 attack or something like that. Basically, lots of speed, lots of attack, but really fragile. Not a lot of defense or special defense, or no special attack really, and not a lot of HP. Mimicking how the Queen plays in chess again, with the Queen being able to move anywhere on the board. But again, it's a high risk, high reward kind of style of play. That would be really cool, and it would make sense because again you have Rowan researching evolution. It's like, oh, I found a new way to evolve. I found a way to evolve Bisharp into 2 new forms or something like that. And again, you get regional forms like other Pokemon, like have the laws being like they're an invasive species, but they didn't quite do so well, so they need to adapt to the native Pokemon. So they changed typing and they changed how they looked and how they acted and all that. And I do think regional forms and new evolutions to Pokemon that were introduced after Generation 4 is a good possibility. I do honestly think that is something, if Gen 4 just get remade, I do honestly think that is something that is probably going to happen. Like, Gen 4 was a generation that gave evolutions to old Pokemon, and there's definitely a lot of Pokemon nowadays you could say that need evolutions, and like maybe you could still have some evolutions and regional forms of older Pokemon, because you couldn't get all Gen 3, 2 and 1 Pokemon in Diamond, Pearl and Platinum. That's why they had Heart Gold and Soul Silver, so you could get more Gen 2 Pokemon, because you couldn't get a lot in Gen 4. Also, another thing, you can't get a lot. You can't get there's a lot of cut Gen 4 Pokemon from the decks. So that's also another thing that could hint towards Gen 4 remakes. Again, in Gen 4, they went to launch Gen 2 Pokemon, so we got Gen 2 remakes. In Gen 3, they went to launch Gen 1 Pokemon, we got Gen 1 remakes. And the Pokemon Colosseum and Stadium, Pokemon Colosseum and XD Yellow Darkness, sorry, to get other Gen 1 and 2 Pokemon. So yeah. Oh yeah, and I think Pokemon Snap and Pokemon Unite and Pokemon Sleep will probably release, or we will get more information on them at least this year. But I do think Unite will release this year. Probably Pokemon Snap. Not 100% sure on Snap, but I'm like 90% sure on Snap. Pokemon Sleep, I'm about 60% sure that's going to be released this year. 100% sure we're going to at least get some information on it. And maybe we'll get some projects that haven't even been announced yet, releasing, like maybe Explosive Time, Darkness or Sky remakes, maybe Pokemon Ranger remakes or sequels, or what else? Anyway, so yeah, that's what I think Nintendo and Game Freak's 2020 is really going to look like. Oh, and I think we might get some information on Odyssey 2 this year, but definitely not going to release this year. And like, there's at least going to be the same gap between Odyssey. There's at least going to be the same gap between Breath of the Wild 2 and Odyssey 2 as there was between Breath of the Wild and Odyssey. Yeah, I should have looked that up, but yeah, look up when Breath of the Wild released, when Odyssey released, the time gap in between there, then when Breath of the Wild 2 released, start counting down to Odyssey 2. That's where my money is, on Odyssey 2 right now. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next live stream, because my throat is starting to hurt, and it is hurting me to talk, so bye bye.